Schizophrenic William Jaggs was branded a grave and immediate risk when sent to a mental hospital just over 10 years ago for the fatal stabbing of Lucy Braham, who was 25, at Harrow School, where her father was a master. Despite the warnings at his trial at the Old Bailey, the 34-year-old is now regularly allowed out for day trips to shop for women's clothes at Primark and groceries at Sainsbury's. Goodness me. There's a photograph from the Sun newspaper. He's seen wearing lacy dresses, and he likes to be called Gillian when he goes shopping. He himself was Harrow-educated. He was a drug addict. Let's tread carefully here, because the children could be listening. He undressed and stabbed the girl 66 times in a ferocious and unrelenting sexually motivated frenzy after he became obsessed with her. Yesterday, her family told of their fury at the acceleration of what's called the phased release. The Sun newspaper wrote this yesterday. Lucy's father, Jason, who's 68, says Jaggs once described himself as a complete psychopath. Therefore, he clearly needs monitoring. Dear, oh dear. On the evidence I know, I feel he's still a danger to the public. A woman who knew him was horrified to get a letter saying he was coming out. It's still a shock to hear he's already on the streets. But he also, also likes to be dressing as a woman. He began using cannabis as a 14-year-old boarder at Harrow, went on to become addicted to LSD, heroin and crack cocaine. A day before killing Lucy, he emailed an Oxford tutor saying he dreamed of sexual relations with her, let's put it like that. The girl was never warned of his obsession. He tricked his way into her home while her parents were out trying to sell her a kitten. What extraordinary. When she said she couldn't accept it, he flew into a rage, stabbed her in a frenzy as she screamed for help. He was charged with murder, but 4 psychiatrists agreed he was suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. Liam Kotrie is director of Mary Monson Solicitors on Fleet Street, specialising in serious crime areas. You're surprised that this man yes, he is a man. This man seems to be getting ready for release. Good morning.
Good morning. 10 years seems like a short amount of time. I'm not a doctor. I've not been caring for him during that time, though. It's important to remember in this case that he wasn't convicted of murder. He was convicted of manslaughter. It's 2 very different offences, and from what I've read, he ran a trial on the grounds of diminished responsibility, meaning that he did not have the mental capacity to form the mental element of murder at the time. He didn't have the intention to kill.
Yes.
Or as a sane person would.
And I always appreciate you giving us the legal background, and I urge my listeners to remember it's not you that makes these calls as to what people are charged with or indeed what sentences they get, but if just over 10 years ago he had diminished responsibility to the level that he could brutally attack, not that there's a good attack, but I mean really brutally kill this young woman, it's quite astounding. She is now going for shopping trips to Sainsbury's.
It does seem amazing, but 10 years is a long time, and someone is only given one of these hospital orders if they have some kind of illness which could be treated. And one has to respect the system. One has to assume, in this case, albeit all of these systems should always be supervised, but one has to assume that the experts who are dealing with him feel that he is now safe to re-enter back into society.
They don't always get it right, these experts, do they, of course? Mr. Kotrie.
Well, we're only human, but we can't lock everyone up forever in case we're wrong. We have to give some people the benefit of the doubt after 10 years or more. But let's not forget that this was a horrific killing, and that should be remembered, and that should be kept in context when dealing with whether or not to release him. Of course, it can't just be whether or not he's well enough to re-enter society. The aspects of the killing itself have to be taken into consideration, especially for the family of the deceased.
Liam Kotrie, always good speaking with you. Thank you. You're director of the Mary Monson Solicitors firm on Fleet Street, and you specialise in these areas.